Warning, MF Uncensored contains adult language and discussion. Listener discretion is advised.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. We're not Duffy and Dilly. Don't go around willy-nilly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to MF Uncensored. If you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you guys get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you'll find links to not only this show, but our other shows like the Multiverse Fancast and Cinematic Adventures. You'll also find articles, reviews, our Misfit store, all there. So again, that's themisfitfaction.com. I'm Paul. I'm one of your hosts, one of your guides on this journey of podcasting. And we have a very special episode today. And I know I say that a lot, but this one is definitely, it's something a little bit different, a little bit more about our network and a little bit more about podcasting. So we got to sit down with the hosts of You Hate to See It, the pod, Jeff, Adam, and Nick, and they, first of all, they were fantastic. We had a lot of fun talking with them. It's an interview. Me and Ronnie are both on it, so I mean, that alone is enough incentive for anybody. But also, we enjoyed chatting with them so much that they are actually the very first podcast that we have featured on our website, themisfitfaction.com. We're doing a little bit of collaboration with them. You're going to see us on their show in the next couple of weeks, so we'll make sure we link that to you guys. But really, they were just awesome, and we're going to be doing some work with them in the near future. So if you guys actually go to our website, themisfitfaction.com, not only will you find a link to their show under our affiliates page, but on the main page, you'll actually see their podcast player featured underneath ours. So make sure you guys give them a listen. Make sure you tell them that we sent you over there, and give them some love, give them some appreciation. Before we get started, obviously, a couple of things. First and foremost, this episode is brought to you by Raise Energy. Guys, if you have not heard our podcast before, then obviously you don't know much about Raise Energy. So let me tell you, Raise Energy is our favorite go-to energy supplement for those long days or for those hard workouts. It's the best way for us to power through and get things done. If you guys go to repsports.com, that's REPP sports.com, anything you put in your cart, whether it's an energy drink, supplement, protein, t-shirt, whatever it is, if you guys enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout, then you guys will get a discount from us. So make sure you guys check that out. And also, don't forget, guys, if you are looking to start your own podcast, maybe you guys have been curious about what we do for a long time, and it's always something that you've wanted to do, but you don't know how to start. If you guys, first of all, if you want to start a show, get in touch with us. We would love to network with you and have you on our website and part of the Misfit Faction. But if you guys are looking to actually get started, you go to podbean.com/misfitfaction, and you'll get a free month of podcasting as a thank you from us to our loyal listeners and our loyal subscribers. And also, if you guys have your own business or you're something that you want to plug and advertise for, advertising is a big part of growing any sort of business or online presence. If you guys go to sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction, you'll get $100 worth of free advertising. Again, a thank you from us to you guys. And then, without further ado, with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to MF Uncensored. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also find more of our content at our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you'll find links to all of our other shows, not just MF Uncensored, but also the Multiverse Fancast and Cinematic Adventures as well. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio today is Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. How about you?
More sober than you, I guess.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. And also via the Zoom studio, as we've come to call. I need to make a T-shirt that just says
The Zoom Studio.
The Zoom Studio.
I like Zoom Studio. That's
Yeah,
nice.
Zoom
I like that.
Studio.
Yeah.
Ronnie, what's the name of their podcast, huh? Pop quiz.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. I was hoping to catch you on off guard right there.
I got this. I listened to it before.
From the You Hate to See It podcast, we have Adam and Nick. Adam and Nick, how are you guys doing today? I want you guys to fight for the honor.
More sober. I'm still more sober than
Working to catch up.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
Let me
Good
take
luck.
a shot really quick.
Just doing shots. Wow.
There you go. I was going to say, because this is 8.5%, so.
Oh God.
I have my Michelob Ultra for those of you guys who are ready to make fun of somebody.
No. I'll join. This is, Adam, this is the infinity bottle.
Oh yeah.
It's spicy. It's spicy. Adam, you can explain what the infinity bottle is while I do this.
For anyone who doesn't know, an infinity bottle is when every bottle of whiskey you buy, you take a shot and you put it in an empty bottle, and you continue to do that until that bottle is full. Of just one shot of, and you try and get different kinds every single time.
Right.
So then eventually you have a full whiskey bottle, and you never know what the flavor is going to be because it's a shot of everything.
Huh.
The first shot into that was Crown Apple.
Oh.
And it's very spicy for some reason. I don't. There's a lot of bourbons in there.
Yeah.
So, but it's very spicy.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I might have to do that.
So for those of you guys who obviously people don't know what happened before the show started, but so we start this interview.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. We talked for 40 minutes. I feel like we talked longer than the actual show's gonna go. But whatever. It's our show. We get to do what we want. But the first thing we made a comment about us having, Ronnie has his beer. So the second I said that, both Adam and Nick, wait, we can drink on this show? And they disappeared.
I ran out to my car in the rain to go grab what was left.
Yeah, I just basically that's how our show started, was us just getting belligerently drunk. And like it really was, because it just started with the three of us talking to each other. So it was who can outdrink who the fastest. And that's how
college, so it was moderately acceptable.
And that's how we started. And as we've kept going, we get more important people that we interview, and we just go, we can't really be stupid idiots on the podcast.
We just went through an entire recording where I couldn't swear. So,
no.
That was we just interviewed Mark Christopher Lawrence, he's a dry comedian and he's very religious, and so he's like, he doesn't swear. It's part of his brand to not swear. So I told Nick, I was like, we're not swearing because he's not swearing. But then we also had Mark Scheffler.
Oh, I know Mark. Yep.
Yeah.
Who was smoking weed while he was on.
It was great.
So,
the very first interview we did was with Rico Avellis from the Rico podcast. And
I love those
we're
guys.
actually
Those guys are great.
Yeah, we've been on Rico's show, and we're having Rico on the show. We're recording it tomorrow.
I was on Rico's 2 weeks ago. They lost it. All we did was talk about guns the entire time. It was great. And they lost the entire audio.
Oh,
They lost Nick's audio, but
So
they
I have
lost
to-
their
it
audio.
It has to have been one of the best podcasts I've ever been on. It was great. It really was. Again, it was awesome. All I did was talk about guns for fucking like an hour and a half. It was great.
But he was the same way. He was like, "You don't mind if I start smoking, do you?" And he lights up. I was like, "Go for it, man! Like, America,
You do you.
Mm-hmm.
You do you.
yeah." But you guys also, we were listening to your last show, and you guys also have Bruce Valanche on the docket. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
We interviewed him Wednesday.
Oh, you guys already did it? Oh man, I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Well, we're in the weird phase where
We have no idea. I don't know when anything's coming out. So talk to him.
So we release the interviews bi-weekly, and we are also recording everything in the next 2 months. By the end of May, we will only have 3 episodes left to record for the year.
Wow.
That's just kind of it's just how scheduling works. And when you get a big list of people here, email them and get them on your show, you just do it, and whatever works out best. And it just turns out that we're recording all of them in 2 months. So
nice.
That's
sucks
crazy.
for them. Some of their episodes don't come out for 4 months, but
same thing with us. Like we obviously, for those of you guys who don't know, we connected with our publicist Steve Joyner. He gave you guys our contact info. You reached out.
Yeah.
Steve is very famous for, here's 42 people that you can email right now to get on the show. So yeah, we had 2 other shows, the Multiverse Fancast and Cinematic Adventures, which were movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So they were you have to wait to see the show before you can record anything on it. And so when Steve and I connected, we made this brand new show for interviews, and we basically spent a month just creating this bank of interviews. And when I released the first episode, we had already had 3 months worth of content ready to go. So but it's a lot of work, but some of these people are fantastic, and Bruce was hilarious.
Yeah, we liked Bruce. I'm editing his now, so we just record. This is probably the closest to release that I've actually had in a long time, because our interviews, I'm the one that edits the interviews, and it's usually I'm a month ahead, but just circumstances, I have 2 weeks before Bruce's episode goes out. And Bruce is also the most heavily edited, just because we only had an hour with him, and I wanted to make sure we got through the Star Wars holiday special stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I recorded that first, and then but I was like, I want people to, listen to the episode, not just come in for the holiday special. So I knew I wanted the holiday special at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So I'm like flipping things around, and like I think Nick and I spent maybe like 20 minutes after recording with Bruce re-recording segues and conversations and stuff like that to try and piecemeal together the new flow of the show, to try and put the Star Wars stuff at the end. But I wanted to make sure I had it, so and didn't run out of time.
See, my challenge with Bruce was, we don't record our video because we don't do video podcasting. We've done it before, but it's just such another layer to add on to the work that's already being done. And so I told Bruce, he's like, is this video? And I said, well, we do Zoom, but I don't record the video. He's like, okay, cool. The video turns on, and there's Bruce Valanche with no shirt on, and like he doesn't do like any of his trademark stuff. And he's like, you said it was no video, so are you cool if I don't wear a shirt? I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, let's do this. This is gonna get weird today.
Yeah, right.
I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I just talked to a shirtless man Muppet for the last hour and a half. She's like, wait, what?
Yeah, we release our videos unedited to our patrons just because we wanted more money.
Yeah.
But we needed something to give them for more money. So I was like, what's the least amount of work I can do? I could not edit the entire Zoom call and just post it. That sounds pretty good to me.
I don't remember a lot of it because I was definitely very drunk. There's some primo content on that Patreon. There's a lot there.
We had one of, so the three of us are best friends from college, but we had one of our other best friends on the show literally just because we had nothing else to do and we needed an interview, and we were like, hey, you do nothing, let's interview you.
Interview you on nothing.
and we were like, plug yourself, and he's like, I have nothing. And we're like, yeah, that makes sense.
That was a great interview.
I have Netflix.
That was also the drunkest I had been in about 6 months.
Yeah, so Nick went, and we ended up having like going back and forth between one conversation like 3 or 4 times, because like Nick would just drunkenly get up and walk away mid-conversation. So we'd move, because I need to keep things moving. We would move on, and then Nick would come back, and then we'd start over and like pick up where we left off. So that editing process, it probably took me 4.5 hours to edit that episode, just because I was like,
because of Nick.
We were,
you can say it.
I had to pull like I made it one conversation in the edit, because that's confusing for a listener, and so that's the funniest conversation I've ever listened to post edit, because Nick, every time Nick leaves, he enters a new stage of drunkenness. So in the edit, it's like Nick gets from buzzed to completely blackout drunk over the course of like 4 minutes. Like, it's the funniest thing ever.
I don't remember the ending of the podcast.
And then after that, Nick isn't in the episode for like 20 minutes because those were the stuff we talked about whenever Nick would leave. So
that's
so
great.
Going to your best friends and going, hey, tell me when to stop pouring is a really bad idea.
Oh, it depends on your friends. Yeah.
It's a really bad idea.
It's a really bad idea.
When we're your friends, it's a very bad idea.
It was
you start and we go, uh-huh.
Yeah. Keep going. You're almost there.
Right there.
Almost there.
Oh, it's empty? Go grab another one.
Yeah, right.
I would like to point out I was drinking proof bourbon.
Nice.
So I was making mules with 100 proof bourbon, and it was a 16-ounce cup. About 8 of those ounces were bourbon.
Oh my god.
So
It was
I was too drunk to notice. So.
Yeah.
At the time, I had a great time. It was like a week later when I decided to edit that I really wanted to.
I don't work there
really
anymore.
Kill everyone.
I don't work there anymore, but so I feel comfortable saying this. I woke up the next morning on my couch because at some point during whatever we were doing afterwards, I just migrated to my couch, fell asleep, woke up hungover. Plugged my phone in, saw that I was 5 minutes late for work, and I'm like, well, looks like we're going in. Put on whatever pants were on the floor and went into work.
That's funny. I feel like we've probably all been in something similar. I know I've gone to work, not my current job, but previous jobs. I have gone in still drunk from the night before?
So I worked a
Are
college
you
security.
talking about your neck break?
No. I'm not
That neck
talking about
break
that.
is- oh,
So
the neck break's good.
There was one night where I went into a job evenings or night shift, and I fell asleep on the job, and my head was like this
So,
in the corner.
that night was even better because it was like it was a party. Like we were like fresh out of college, so we were still partying like we were in college, like almost every day. And so we had a big party, and Nick and Jeff worked together. Nick passes out on the couch because he was supposed to be the sober one. Jeff wasn't supposed to drink, and Jeff was going to go to work, and Nick was going to call off. And then something happened that Nick had to go into work, and he was like, "I'm very drunk," and he passed out on the couch. I then went and I went. We were at one of our female friends' houses, and I was like, "What can I draw on Nick's face with that will come off with a makeup wipe?" And she said, Sharpie. She's like, just normal Sharpie. It will come off with the makeup wipe. And I was like, okay. So I took the Sharpie and I drew on Nick's face because she told me that the makeup wipe will make it come off. Because I didn't want to fuck Nick over for his job.
Yeah.
I just wanted the initial shock.
Yeah.
Reaction. And so I draw on Nick's face, and he's blackout drunk and passed out. We then wake him up, and they're like, you gotta go to work now. Sucks for you. And you like drag him into Jeff's truck, and I then go and I say, hey Nick, I want you to look in the mirror on the visor.
Yeah.
And he opens it up, looks, and he's like, what? And I throw the makeup wipes down and say, good luck, slam the door shut and run back inside.
Yes.
and he like spends the whole time cleaning it off. It does it like you can see at first glance you don't notice it, but when you focus on his face you can see it
because it doesn't really clean
honestly the makeup wipe did a very good job. It just wasn't what I was expecting.
Just
when
didn't
I was
do a great job. Yeah.
That and then Nick goes to sleep, and he's like laying like his like flat with his head at a 90-degree angle up against the wall, and we're like, that's not
the
right.
amount of times I went into that job with Jeff telling me, hey, wait out here, smoke a couple cigs, and then go inside. It was a lot because there were times where I like chain smoked 5, just like I'm sober. I'm not sober, but I'm wired on something.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out
there are enough stimulants in my system from the nicotine to counteract the amount of depressants from the alcohol.
I'd like to point out I just took a sip of my water, forgetting that I set my alcohol somewhere else, and that was the worst taste in my mouth ever.
I'll be honest with you.
I was expecting alcohol, and now I have water. What is this, sober?
I'm on my second beer, and I wasn't expecting to get it. So I don't really drink anymore. I really don't. This is probably the most I've drank.
2 beers.
In a couple months.
To be fair, all of our episodes right now we don't drink in, so it's easy. Well, I'm drinking leftover Taskmaster. What?
That's from December.
It is from December.
Oh.
So every year we do a live special, and I don't know if you've seen the British show Taskmaster.
Nope.
But it's basically you have a taskmaster who wrote these tasks that everyone performs. And in the show, it's like it's at a house and it's pre-recorded and stuff. For us, it's live. Basically, I have an assistant who's the winner of the previous Taskmaster, comes on, and basically I treat them like shit, and they give tasks to everyone as if I wrote them. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. And then I judge. And they run around for however long we are live streaming for, performing these tasks until we get to the end. And I did this in college, and I now only do it for the special because I'm an adult and you gotta pace yourself. I call it the pitcher. So I take a pitcher, and it starts as a 2-liter and a handle. So a 2-liter of Sprite and a handle of, I usually try and find some flavored vodka, but that's how it starts. And then as you work its way down, when you get about 2 inches left, you pour more stuff in, and you just, it's like an infinity bottle kind of deal, but it just never ends.
Adam tried to convert me to the picture one time. and I mixed cherry Jim Beam with cherry Diet Pepsi, and it was one of the in the moment it was great. I came back to his house because I just leave stuff at his house because I'd go there after work and drink. And I came back like a couple days later and I drank it, and it was just like drinking cough syrup.
Oh.
So I don't mind because I don't drink soda outside of mixing it with alcohol. So I don't
Same.
mind like flat soda because it's really what I drink most of the time, because by the time I get to something, it's flat. Like it's just how it is. So, I had this pitcher, and during the night I finished so this past one, first episode was about 3 hours, a little less. The second one, we just did our second annual in December, was over 4 hours.
Was it really? It felt shorter.
No, I was blackout by the end of it. I actually had to go watch the end of it because I didn't remember ending the live stream.
There's a really good shot of me on my couch contemplating ending my life with my dog in my lap because of some bullshit Adam pulled on it.
Oh yeah, that's funny for everyone but Nick.
It was awful for me.
I'll talk about it
if you want to see a man break.
I'll talk about it briefly in a second. But so during that 4 hours, I drank the whole pitcher and then I got it down and added more to it and drank over half of it in a 4 hour time span.
Yikes.
So I am just blackout drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That was so I still had the leftover pitcher, and the pitcher doesn't fit, and I have a mini fridge as my beer fridge in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
So but the pitcher doesn't fit in the mini fridge, so I went and I have this and one more of these full of that's just leftover because I don't drink a whole lot anymore. That just sits there.
Yeah.
So it's my Taskmaster. Yeah, no, so this thing that Nick did was there's been on the actual TV show, the Taskmaster's is Greg Davies. He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian in Britain, and because it's 5 comedians or actors or whatever that spend like a month each recording this show Taskmaster, doing this stupid shit.
Yeah.
And whenever you're actually like best friends with Greg Davies, your life is hell because he gives you extra stuff to do. And one of them was for the whole scene.
Who's the YouTube guy that's like the American equivalent? What's this? He's like friends with Drake Bell or something.
No one's friends with Drake Bell.
Not Drake Bell. Josh Peck. Josh Peck.
Well, they're definitely not friends, but yes.
Who the guy you were friends with?
Oh, David Dobrik.
David Dobrik. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the British equivalent of David Dobrik, but older.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but for one whole season, like his best friend was one of the contestants. So every episode he did a thing of count how many beans are in a can of beans or a can of baked beans, count how many O's are in a can of SpaghettiOs, count this, count that. And you're recording it under the impression that everyone else is doing it because you word the task in a way that is fastest wins or whatever, or most accurate wins or things like that. So every episode, this guy is just counting things out of like, it's just stupid. It really is just stupid. Yeah. And the guy never received points for it. Like it was like, you're doing this for nothing. Yeah. Really. I think it was like the last episode, he gave him like 2 points total for doing this every episode. And I did it. The first episode, the first live stream came and went, and I knew I wanted to do something. And especially at the beginning of the podcast, we used Nick as like the punching bag for a bunch of jokes. Like that was kind of the thing when we started.
Wonder what that's like.
You know what it's like.
It's a hell of a time. It's not always pleasant.
And so I was like, what if I just make Nick count a can of SpaghettiOs? So I went through this whole elaborate thing of making everyone think that everyone was getting a special secret pre-recorded task. And then I briefly let 4 out of the 5 people know that their special secret task was to pretend that they had a special secret task and to not say anything and to make anything up and I won't give away anything. So whatever your story is, I don't corroborate or like I don't deny or go against, like nothing.
Yeah.
And then Nick got, you need to count how many O's are in a can of SpaghettiOs.
I broke during and after.
I went to record it, and like it wasn't fun for Nick. It also really wasn't fun for me recording it in my head, being like, Nick is the only one doing this, and he's literally doing it for no reason.
I literally counted each SpaghettiO.
And well, yeah, because honestly,
it had a tally system. I ate a lot of SpaghettiOs from the can.
I honestly thought Nick was going to like pour some in his hands, be like, that's what that feels like, count them, and then pour the, like, I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes done. No, It took 52 minutes. 52 minutes of Nick counting almost every SpaghettiO.
I wanted to win. I wanted to win. I wanted to win against the others.
He also dropped the can on the ground, and I was upset because my phone only had 43 minutes of available recording time. So I was like recording, and then if he's just standing there counting, I would stop recording because I'm like, nothing's happening right now. Why waste my phone recording space on this? And then he dropped the can, and I missed him dropping it. That's the most upset I've ever been in my entire life. He dropped it. I had my phone out on camera in case something happened, and I immediately hit record and was able to get the aftermath and the immediate reaction of him dropping it. And that was funny, but I missed the drop itself, and I will never forgive myself for it.
The only thing that kept me from losing my damn mind was Adam was kind enough to give me one of my earbuds and let me play my audiobooks.
I let him listen, and also because I knew he was the only one doing this, and I also knew I needed him to be funny because however long this takes him, I have to cut it down. I had the music picked out, and I wasn't gonna edit music around because that's a pain in the ass. So I had about 4 minutes and 50 something seconds that I had to fit this into. So I was like, whatever keeps him happy and keeps him going, just do, because I'm gonna cut a lot of stuff.
and then there was him showing it on the special, and then like I said, I ended up on that couch with my dog in there looking like I was gonna throw myself in front of a bus.
I planned out the release, like when I released that very well. We had one task left, so no matter how mad Nick got, it was, well, you only got one more task left.
Yeah.
I have never been so close to just up and quitting the podcast. Like I straight up almost just quit. Like that's then funny. And there, Adam, I'm done.
So
I was also
the real question is
so drunk.
How many SpaghettiOs were there?
It was like a little over 1,000. It was like 1,400 or something.
It must have been a can of just SpaghettiOs and not SpaghettiOs with meatballs then.
No, it was just
seven meatballs.
I don't remember how many Nick actually counted because I didn't care.
I remember.
I'll never forget.
I know the average because I Googled it because I wanted to know, because I wanted to be prepared.
Yeah.
And Nick then did ask me. He's like, have you counted already? And I went, yeah, I counted. And the number is somewhere between 1,700 and 1,705, or not 70. Is it? Yes. 1,750. So somewhere between 17 and 1,750.
He's lucky. He's lucky that I don't go back in time and kill him, because the next day was my first date with my now girlfriend. So he's lucky I don't go back in time and kill him.
That's funny.
Good thing you guys didn't go out for Italian.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It was, I mean, honestly, not being Nick in that moment was one of the funniest things. I do understand Nick's anger.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's one of the funniest things I've ever done in
my girlfriend was watching it, and like she texts me, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm just so tired and done and drunk. And she's like, okay, good. Because that was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah, that's great.
That's how you break up with somebody before you even start dating them.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
I got nothing. If we're
Yeah.
looking for guests for the next Taskmaster special, so
Hey guys,
As long as I don't
how's
have
it
to
going?
count SpaghettiOs or
As long as-
Cheerios
as-
or anything.
As long as you get to eat whatever you get to participate with.
Yes, that is true.
There it is. That's what.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
how to tame a wild Ronnie. Here's the alcohol. Here's the food. Okay,
You got me. I'm sold.
Hey, no, we get very drunk. This next year, I'm planning it already because it takes me like to book the guests and
Yeah.
get things prepared and pre-record what needs to be pre-recorded and do the like whatever needs
Yeah.
to be done. And I have to make.
He
the
told me to
tasks.
section off that weekend like in October.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it's already the date is booked. Now we're just trying to find people to fit that date. And yeah, and I'm writing stuff now for it. And I'm like, I can't like it cannot because that episode ended with me stumbling upstairs. My girlfriend at the time, my now fiance, she was having a party, her Christmas party with her friend group upstairs.
Yes.
That's
And
great.
I stumbled
That's
upstairs. I glided down the hallway, and by glided, I mean I used the walls to get myself down the hallway.
You Spider-Man did.
I went to the bedroom. I like put my hands and like bent over the bed, and she comes in and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." And she's like, "Do you need to go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "Don't look at my small penis." And she goes, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "You heard me." And I walked into the bathroom. And then I went, and this is only a problem man will have. Our toilets are the round bowled toilets.
Yeah.
And I sat down to pee because I didn't trust myself to stand up and pee.
Oh,
That's
when,
fair.
when you're
Yeah,
that
that's
drunk,
fair.
you,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are you
We've
become
all-
a sit down
we've all
peer
been
when you
there.
were that
We've all
drunk.
been
Yep.
there.
And especially in a round bowl where things are much closer to other things that dangle,
Yep.
and you're going with such ferocity that the dangle lifts up a little bit,
Mhm.
and then it perfectly aims between the seat and the bowl of the toilet,
Yes.
and then you end up pissing all over the floor. Yeah, that happened, and I couldn't stop peeing. And she's like, "You're pissing on the floor," and I was like,
Don't look at it.
I know.
I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna really need you to, like, I'm not like pissing on the like I'm still hitting the bowl. It's not like I'm intentionally or accidentally
Yeah.
pissing onto the floor. It is just unfortunate aim of
Yeah, right.
things. I'm in the toilet. What more
Yes.
do you want from me? I'm in the toilet.
You're like
If
you're in the
things
bathroom
aren't
at this
going
point.
in-
Exactly. You're like,
Yeah,
I know
and-
how to pee. I just don't know how to pee at this moment.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not like this is something that, and I'm like, I'm trying to push it down, and I'm also worried about the pee flooding onto the floor, and she's like freaking out, and I'm going and I'm pulling rolls of toilet paper and just putting them on the floor. I'm like, stop yelling at me, I'm sorry.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, she honestly thought it was funny. She's never seen me like drunk because I've always like had to stay sober enough,
Yeah.
and she's never seen me like that before. And so she thought it was hilarious and said, "Please don't do that again next year." And I said, "I'll try and make the episodes no more than 3 hours next time. Like,
Yeah.
let's shoot for that." Like,
So
Maybe you pick your holiday party at a better time.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
it's like,
It's
don't
actually
be
your
hard-
fault that
Yeah.
this happened.
originally her holiday party was supposed to be the weekend before, and
Ah.
she wasn't supposed to be home the weekend of Taskmaster special because I didn't want her to see me that drunk. And then she was like, "What's the big deal?" That's the big deal.
You know
You've
how
seen it?
he's saying that with her not there.
Oh, she's not listening. Don't worry. She won't be
She
listening to
is.
our episode.
She is at a party right now.
Trying to figure out how to use the toilet.
I would like to point out this is the first time I heard this side of the story, and it's exactly on
Oh, you
par.
can tell that Morgan's not home by the way that I'm talking about.
We can also tell you're engaged and not married by the way you're talking about her, because Ronnie just got married like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've been married for 2 years, and the way you talk about your significant other changes because they're always listening.
Yes, they're always listening.
But it's funny. That story actually reminds me of my. So 2 years ago, my wife and I, when we first got engaged, same thing. She never saw me drunk. I was always the driver. I was always the quote unquote responsible one. And we go to a party for we run a series of races called Tough Mudder, and we do a party every year. And she's like, "I'm going to drive, and I'm going to see you drunk." And I was like, I'm gonna do that, like with all the gumption that I can muster. So we have a friend named Ryan, Black Rhino as we call him, and because that's what he is. He's a 6'4" black guy, and that's what we call him, Black Rhino. Excuse me. And so she meets with him, and she's like, I want Paul to be drunk, and he's like, I got you. So by the end of the night, he and I finished an entire bottle of tequila on our own, and probably a 12-pack each.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of
Coasting.
coasting through that. We're trying to do games, and I'm like, I have no clue what we're actually playing right now. It's like some drawing game, and I'm just like making these horrible drawings. But so finally we go to leave, and she's like, "You good?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm good. I'm living the dream." She's like, "You sure you're good?" I'm like, "Girl, I can't be better. I don't talk like this normally. This should be a red flag immediately." But we get in the car.
For shizzle.
For shizzle indeed, everyone.
Your boy is off the chain right now.
So we go literally around the corner, and I'm like, "Can we see the house?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Good, pull over." And she pulls over 4 feet away from this house, but just out of eyesight. And I'm just like, "It's over." And I just start vomiting profusely. And she's trying not to laugh. She's like, "Good job," just rubbing my back. And she's like dying too at the same time. So we get home. I'm like, "Are we home?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are we in our parking lot?" She's like, "Yeah." Open the door, and I start throwing up again. She's like, "Stop asking me questions if you're just gonna throw up afterwards." We get upstairs. We're in the bathroom. I'm like, "Are we in the bathroom?" She's like, just throw up." So I start throwing up, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And she's dying because she thinks it's the funniest thing ever. And that was like really the only time she ever saw me that drunk. And it's just pure romance.
Yeah.
There was one time, this was when we were still in college, I went missing, and we still don't know where I was at for a portion of it.
You're probably with Ronnie because he does that too.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I just need to go for a walk.
So I went and we was, what the fuck, tailgating, football. I don't like football. So whatever the homecoming, there we go.
Yeah.
Homecoming.
There we go. You got it.
At my school.
There.
We tailgated beforehand, and we pigged out, and we got very drunk at the tailgate. And then when the football game starts, mind you, the football game starts at like noon.
Yeah.
Like, we were already very drunk. And also, none of us in the friend group, and we called it the house. It was where 5 of the people in the friend group lived, and then 2 of us lived 2 blocks away in an apartment. And it was the house that we all partied at. It was basically like a frat house without a frat. And we were so drunk, and then we were like, okay, I had my car there, and one other person had their car there because we had blocked off parking spots a week before, so we had good spots to tailgate in. And I was like, well, shit has to get moving. Like, we have a lot of things here. They have to get moved. Like, we can't just leave the grill here. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
So I went and I was like, well, literally, it's we went to Western Illinois University, so it is a square. And so the football field is on one side of the square, and the house is literally on the street on the other side of the square, almost exactly in the same spot, just on the other side.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's 4 blocks. Like, and it's easy. Like, I can do that. So we loaded up my car, and I had my red Solo cup because you weren't allowed to drink out of glass. And I am not a beer drinker, so I'm drinking Smirnoff Ices, like cooler. Like, I'm drinking fun things.
Yeah.
But they're all in glass, so I have to pour them into red Solo cups because we weren't allowed to have glass at the tailgate. So I have my red Solo cup about half full still, and we're packing up and leaving. So I go, okay, I put it in my cup holder, and I was like, the cops are more worried about the football game. I can get home.
Yeah.
Like, I can get to the house. It's around the block. I go, and the first stop that you go to is a cop directing traffic. And I don't know where these balls came from, but I had my windows rolled down. It's warm out. And I go, and as I'm driving past the cop turning, I pick up my drink and I look at him, give him a nod, and start chugging as I'm turning. And then I proceeded to floor it to the house. Never got in trouble or anything, but I would like to point
That's
out
great.
I may or may not have done that. I don't think I can legally say I have, but I did. And then I got to the house, we unloaded everything, and all of us were like, wow, we're really tired. Well, the football game's going on, so like nothing's happening right now. So we all took a communal nap together on the couch. It's a big couch, and there's we had a bunch of friends over too, so there's probably like 15 of us in that house for the weekend.
Yeah.
And all but like 3 of us were sleeping together on the couch. We took the communal nap, and then we woke up. We kept drinking, we kept partying. 6:30 rolls around, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go. One of the people in the house was a part of a frat, and we're gonna go to your frat party for a little bit. We go to the frat party, and then I woke up in my bed at 5 a.m.
That's great.
So from 6:30 to 5 a.m., I have no idea. I walked down the stairs. I was like in my underwear. So I walked down, and literally on the stairs all the way to the front door is an article of clothing. And I'm like, well, clearly I walked in the house and stripped as I went to bed.
It happens.
What happens before that? I then, because it's 5 a.m., but I'm like sober, I'm awake. Like I had gotten a night's rest. Like I'm done. So I'm like, I just go to the house. What else am I going to do? Like, I don't know. So I go to the house. Everyone's asleep. I literally sit there watching TV until 7 something in the morning when people start waking up. And I go, what the fuck happened last night? Because I don't have it.
Yeah.
And we were basically able at 6:30. I looked at my friends and said, I don't even, at this point, I said something. I don't remember what I said, but I said something, and I got up and left. And then 2.5 hours later, I showed back up at the house and proceeded to continue drinking and continue having fun. And no one knew I was blackout. Everyone thought I was acting normal for drunk Adam.
Yeah.
And we moved on with our lives. And we actually have a t-shirt. We have 2 t-shirts made from me from this night. One is, it has the Batman logo on the back, and this is, I'm not the drunk you want, but I'm the drunk you need. And because I would have conversations with people, and then something would happen, they'd turn their heads, and then I'd disappear. Like it was like my attention span was so little that if you like ignored me for a second, I would just turn and walk away, and people would just keep losing me in the house because I would just disappear like Batman. And then we also have dude, what happened last night, #where's Adam on a shirt. But we pieced together, and we're like at like 11 something, me and Jeff disappeared, and then Jeff returned 20 minutes later. And we're assuming because that Jeff walked me home because we were responsible drunk people who were both blackout.
Yeah.
So we were responsible. Jeff walked me home is what we guess happened. Because we left together.
Or someone was murdered that night. We're not sure, right?
And then Jeff came back to the house. And we're assuming that for me to wake up at 5 a.m. sober and well rested, I needed to go to bed at a reasonable time. So we're like 10:30 to just go home and fall asleep immediately. That feels right to be able to do that. So yeah. So, but from 6:30 to about 9, we have no idea where I was at. We were like, I worked for the local news station at the time, and I called them. I called the police because I had it in with them, and I was like, you know anything about me right now that I don't know? And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, no reason. Hung up, like,
okay, thanks, bye.
Did you guys hear about me last night?
I'm on like I'm looking at Snapchat stories, and like, am I in the background?
Yeah,
anywhere?
right.
Am I doing anything? Like,
Trying
what's
to piece
happening?
things together.
2 hours gone. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that day, like the day he's talking about, I was working security at that tailgate. That was one of those tailgates. That was one of those events I showed up to. 5 minutes in, I became sober.
That's funny.
Well, on that lovely note, we're actually at the end of our time. So that's actually the perfect spot to end our episode.
You say that. You say it's the end of our time, but
No,
it's your choice.
It's not my choice. Somebody said he had to be home by 4:30, and
Oh God,
It's
what a loser!
I
see,
know.
that's
Must
how we
be-
know you're engaged and not
Yeah.
married yet.
it's this
Here's
right
the
here.
difference.
This right
Here's
here
the
is making me
difference.
go home.
I record at home, so
Yeah.
I am always home in time.
Yep. Logistically, we did not think this one through.
Nope.
But so before we end the episode, can you just tell our listeners where they can find your podcast and find some of your stuff?
Nick, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? All right. Nick's never done it before.
Yes.
man.
I do it
Oh.
very poorly.
Pressure's on.
All right, so you can find us on wherever you can find podcasts at You Hate to See It. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on. Do we have an Instagram?
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram.
Social media person. Also, you can find us on at.
On at yes. I'm a little drunk.
2 beers and you're drunk?
3
Oh.
and a shot, bitch.
Wow. Nick's
Yeah,
going
but
ham.
see, you were drinking Kona, which is what, like 4%? I got 8.5 here.
And a shot.
Okay,
No shot.
Yeah, you got you with that.
okay.
You got you
Nick
with the
got
shot.
done.
You
Nick
got
got
you with the
done
shot.
2 shots. I need you to calm down.
I had a
Anyway.
whole Michelob Ultra, guys.
You
Relax.
can you can find us on Twitter at YOUH8CUT. 2CUT?
Question mark.
First of all right, just cut whatever
I
Nick
came
said
up- I
out.
came up with
whenever
the
Nick,
damn
whenever
handle.
Nick said, just cut it. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. You find us on social media at YOUH82CIT. Also, go to our Podbean website and become a patron.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And we're gonna say it now. We definitely want to follow up with you guys.
Oh,
and I feel like a holiday special would be a lot of fun. Just throwing it out there.
We do it. We always need 3 people every year, so
We do, yeah.
so we need. I think we only could use one of you, but we're down.
Rock paper scissors, quick! No. Yeah,
I
please
won.
keep in touch. Like we would love to have you guys back on because we have other co-hosts that and I know you have another co-host that wasn't able to make it today. So
Yeah,
we would love to follow up with you guys. But
For sure.
thank you guys for joining us. This was a blast.
yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care, guys.
Yep.
Yo, those guys were they the inverse of us?
I was gonna say they're literally like, I mean, they don't seem too much younger. I think they said they were like 26, and we're not too much older than them. But I definitely feel like that is us.
They're a little bit us.
They're us. I know, like we don't take it at least like when it comes to like the drinking extreme on our show.
But when we were 26,
On our show,
26,
on our
27,
show.
yeah.
But when we were 26, 27, oh yeah, we were like that. We just didn't have our show. But if we did, that would have been us.
I think we had the multiverse fan cast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That's
That's right.
That was a blast. Thank you to both of them. That was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
We weren't sure what to expect, but we met
We
all
definitely need more
expectations.
story time.
Yeah,
with them.
way more story time. I feel like there's a lot of stories to
Oh,
share.
yeah.
But thank you guys also for listening. If you guys want more of our content, you can go to our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you'll find links to all of our different shows and our brand new store, which does have a new item in it this week. The official MF Uncensored hoodie is now live, so make sure you guys check that out. Just a reminder, we are rotating through our inventory every couple of months. It's going to be seasonal, so mostly t-shirts for the summertime, obviously. I know we're still working on our
Do some tanks, some cutoffs.
working on our misfitness.
Yep.
That's the next big goal for our show. Well, not our show, but our network as a whole. And don't forget to check out us on social media. You can find us basically if you type in Misfit Faction with no numbers, you'll be able to find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So this was a blast. As always, I'm Paul,
I'm Ronnie.
and we'll be back next time.